Well, of course, I didn't really let it affect my vote. As a port commissioner, I have a fiduciary duty to administer the tidelands, and so we took the action to extend the Dole lease because we thought it was the right thing to do. We're operating as a marine terminal. Until we change the use, we're going to continue to do that. And as for that sentence, I think it's confusing to have someone in journalism making that kind of threat against the port commissioner who's trying to take a vote on something.
So how do you interpret it? Do you interpret it as a threat?
Well, the comment seemed intended to influence my vote. What I tried to do was to say, listen, I don't think the facts are exactly right. If we decide to put a stadium on this marine terminal, we can do that despite this lease, which there's ways to get out of. And I wanted to convey that information to him. I didn't let it affect my vote. I thought we had to go ahead with doing the right thing. But I think it's unfortunate to have that sense of that there would be these consequences that didn't have anything to do with the business of the port.
So I interviewed John Lynch earlier this week, and he talked about the paper taking a leadership role in this community. But again, in this email, he says, lead a campaign to disband the port. How do you interpret that? What would a campaign look like?
Well, the port's created by state law. I guess you'd have to get the state to dismantle the port, and people have talked about that from time to time. I actually think the port's doing a really good job. Of all the local governments, we're generating a lot of business. We don't use tax money. We generate all the money that we make out of our own businesses. We're expanding our trade. We're creating jobs down on the waterfront, in addition to recreation and protecting the environment. I think it would be a shame that an organization that's working so well for the whole region would be threatened in that way.
So the email that was sent to Scott Lewis and the email that was sent to Brick Williams, they were both different. What was removed?
When I got the email from Mr. Lynch at first, I had a specific question about the termination of the Dole lease, so I sent that part of it on to the attorney and to Mr. Lynch to make sure that if he had any questions, he could ask her about that. I didn't send the rest of it because the notion that the port would be threatened with extinction, people are working really hard at the port. It's tough on morale to have their work meet that kind of comment, and I just didn't seem relevant. Of course, when this started coming up and someone asked me for the rest of the email, I was happy to provide it.
And that was Scott Lewis?
Yes, right.
Okay. Has Mr. Lynch sent you anything else along these lines?
That was the conversation we had about the Dole lease. We've talked from time to time about the stadium idea. In other settings, I've expressed my thoughts to him about that. As you know, I'm a supporter of, I was a big supporter of Petco Park, really worked hard to make that happen, thought it was great for the city. I think we could do something like that with a football stadium if we were creative. I just don't think that the marine terminal is the right place for it because it's important to our future to be able to expand trade, and we can't really do that inland. We could put a stadium inland, but you have to, if you want a marine port and you want to do trade on the water, you have to be on the water, and that's a precious resource for us.
Okay, but again, the emails, were there any other emails from Mr. Lynch that had that tone?
No, I don't think so. That was a pretty unusual email, I think, yeah.
Okay, and you said that you removed the line that you sent to us because basically you didn't want to demoralize the people, the hardworking people at the port. But is this not a part of the public record? I mean, we tried to get these emails as a part of a Public Records Act, but is that not deleting part of the public record when you do that?
Well, I think I sent it to the port. I'm sure they would have ever gotten it if I hadn't sent it to them. So, I'm happy to share it with you, and as I have, and so, I hope you find it illuminating.
Okay. Is there anything I haven't asked that you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so. I would just say the port, today we operate 2 marine terminals. We're going to keep doing the best job we can with those marine terminals, continue to expand trade, create jobs. And if someone decides that there's a different use for it, we can change the behavior at that time. But we're hanging in there and really doing great things at the port.
Okay, and I just have one follow-up question just to clarify. So the email that John Lynch sent to you, that was on your personal email, that was not on your port
Yes,
email?
right.
Okay. And then you turned over these emails to the port as part of that Public Records Act request?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
No, when he sent the email to me, he had raised the question about whether the Dole lease could be terminated if, in fact, the plan to come up with a different use from the marine terminal ever came to pass. So I forwarded it on to the attorney to make sure that I wasn't misstating it, because I wanted to give him accurate information about the ability to end that lease, which we could do if we had to. We don't intend to do that, but we could do it. So that's why I forwarded that part of the email on.
Right, so but what I'm trying to clarify is when Brooke sent the Public Records Act request to the port asking for emails between Lynch and port commissioners, this email was turned over as part of that request to Brooke, am I correct?
That's what I understand, yeah.
Okay, so, but when
That's the email that they had in the records, because that's what I forwarded.
I see.
Okay.
I see, okay.
So then when someone asked me about whether there was more, if you could see it was based on a forwarded email from the subject line. I think that's what happened. I'm happy to provide it. I think it's fine. I think it's an interesting, it's an important part of the very interesting situation that's developed here.
Okay, so I'm going to go interview John Lynch right
Okay.
now. Hopefully, is there anything
No,
I think I should?
you know, I have a lot of respect for those guys. I think I just think we should continue to have a discussion about how to maximize job creation in San Diego. I think part of that's a marine terminal. I think we can do a stadium in other places. I just don't think this is the right spot for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.